Some people will watch this video, shake their heads, close the app, and continue their lives exactly as they were yesterday. But you are not here by accident. There is something inside of you that already knew this moment was coming. A strange feeling over the last few days, as if the air were thicker, as if time were running differently, as if a part of you were waking up, while another part tries to pretend nothing is happening. There is an abyssal difference between the people who observe changes and the people who participate in them. And between June 7th and 10th, that difference will become impossible to ignore. You are standing before a window that will not open again in the same way for a very, very long time. And what I'm about to reveal to you now, about what this portal truly means, about the 144,000 souls who will feel this frequency first, and about how you can cross this opening into a new timeline, can literally change the direction of your life. So take a deep breath, because what comes now is not a coincidence, it is a calling. There are two types of people living through this historic moment, and I need you to pay close attention to which group you belong to. The first group feels only fleeting emotional swings, wakes up sad for no reason, gets irritated, sleeps poorly, blames it all on work, the weather, family, traffic, lives the cosmic cycles without realizing they are cycles, and when the wave passes, they run back to the routine, to autopilot, to the same life that was slowly sucking their soul away. Now the second group is different. They feel that something deep is moving within. They are observing their own thoughts more closely. They have begun to question old patterns they never had the courage to look at. They are having vivid dreams, strange synchronicities, encounters with repeating numbers, a feeling that they are being prepared for something. If you recognize yourself in the second group, listen to what I'm about to tell you. The difference between you is not luck. The difference is not privilege. The difference is only one thing, and it is called consciousness. And it is exactly about consciousness that we need to talk when it comes to the portal opening on June 7th. Most people hear about energy portals and imagine something mystical, distant, reserved for those who use crystals and live on a mountain. But the truth is much simpler and much more powerful. A cosmic portal like this is not a fantasy. It is an amplifier. It is a point of culmination where everything that has been gestating within you over the last few months finally gains clarity. It is as if the universe pressed a zoom button and you started to see with sharpness what was previously just a blur in your intuition. What was once a suspicion begins to turn into certainty. That quiet little voice you've been hearing inside your chest, the one that said there is something wrong here, the one that said you weren't born for this small life, that voice will become so loud between June 7th and 10th that it will be impossible to muffle. And look how interesting. Everything that happened to you in the last few months was not random. Those deep reflections you had in the middle of the night, those doubts that insist on returning even when you try to push them away, those difficult truths about relationships, about work, about choices, about who you have become and who you always wanted to be. None of this was by chance. They were preparations. They were small waves announcing the tsunami of clarity that is arriving now. The portal does not bring new information. It intensifies what was already there. It puts together the pieces of the puzzle you have been slowly assembling. It shows you the direction that was already forming beneath the surface of your life, but that you still didn't have the courage to admit out loud. And you know what else? This window marks the end of something specific in your life, the end of constant indecision, the end of that "I almost know what I want to do," the end of that horrible feeling of being suspended between two paths, with one foot on each, unable to move forward on either. This ends here, because starting on the 7th, something else begins, a clearer vision, a deeper understanding of your own choices, and the start of a phase of action that will surprise you with the courage you didn't even know you had stored away. Now I need to talk to you about the 144,000 souls, because I know this number appeared in the video title, and perhaps it sparked a strange curiosity in you. Perhaps you have already seen this number before, in ancient texts, in sacred books, in spiritual conversations, or simply in some dream you had and couldn't explain. And I need to demystify this right now, because there are many people out there selling the wrong idea. The 144,000 souls are not an exclusive group. They are not a spiritual elite chosen at birth. They are not people holier, more enlightened, or more special than anyone else. The number 144,000 represents a frequency, a state of readiness, an internal willingness to grow, to face the truth about oneself, to stop running away. It is not about being special. It is about being willing. And the difference between those two things is what separates those who cross the portal from those who stand still looking at it. And how do you know if you are ready? How do you know if your frequency is aligned with this calling from June 7th to 10th? There are very clear signs, and I bet you will recognize yourself in at least one of them. You have stopped running from yourself. You can no longer deceive yourself as before. You are willing to look at your patterns even when it hurts. You have started questioning things you previously accepted without thinking, about money, about love, about family, about God, about your purpose. You feel an unease that does not go away with distraction. If this resonates, listen carefully to what I'm about to say, because it is one of the most important truths in this entire video. True awakening does not begin with light. It begins with honesty. And the honesty you have been building over the last few months is exactly the passport you need to cross this window. Before I continue and show you the 3 specific effects this portal will bring to your life, I need to pause for a second and look into your eyes through this screen. Because I know who you are. You were born seeing what others don't see, feeling what no one around you could feel, sensing things before they happened, and you spent your entire life apologizing for it, shrinking, pretending to be less, pretending to be the same, pretending you didn't notice. But there is one thing that needs to be said. If you silence yourself for one more year, you lose who you were. You lose the person who still remembers what they came here to do. And that is exactly why the Matrice du Despertar was created. It is not another course, it is not another empty promise, it is not more motivational content. It is the end of the lie you were taught to live. It is the complete structure that will take you from, "I always knew there was something different about me," to "Now I finally live what I am." The link is pinned in the first comment and in the description. This window from June 7th to 10th will not wait. And the Matrice du Despertar was made exactly for those who want to cross this portal awake and not asleep. You were born seeing what others don't see and spent your life apologizing for it. Silence yourself for one more year and lose who you were. The Matrice du Despertar is the end of the lie you were taught to live. Click now, before the portal closes. Now let's get to the first major effect of this portal on your life. Intensified clarity. And I need to warn you about one thing before continuing. Clarity is not always comfortable. What was confusing will become evident. That question you have been asking for months about a relationship, about a job, about an important decision, will receive an answer that perhaps you were not ready to hear. Some truths that you had been pushing under the rug simply can no longer be ignored. It will hit hard. It may bring tears. It may bring that feeling of, "How did I not see this before?" But listen to one thing, clarity is liberating. Always. Even when it hurts at first, it is the only real bridge to the life you want to live. Confusion is a prison disguised as comfort. Clarity is the key. The second effect is a complete reorganization of your priorities, and this will happen almost on its own, without you needing to force it. Things that seemed absolutely urgent will simply lose their importance. People who occupied a huge space in your head will start to seem smaller. On the other hand, aspects of your life that you had been neglecting will reveal the real value they always had. You will catch yourself asking questions you previously avoided. What truly deserves my energy? What had been taking up too much space in my life without giving anything back? Who am I when I am not trying to please anyone? And here is one of the most important sentences in this video. The portal does not change your priorities. It shows you what they should have always been. The third effect is perhaps the most impressive, because it is the one that connects the invisible with the visible. Encounters that change directions. Between June 7th and 10th, and in the weeks that follow, unexpected conversations, ideas that reorganize everything, key people who will say exactly the phrase you needed to hear, opportunities that seem too good to be coincidences may appear in your life. And here, I need to warn you, these things rarely arrive in a spectacular way. There will be no lightning striking from the sky. There will be no voice blowing a trumpet. Often these encounters come disguised as completely ordinary moments, a seemingly silly message from a person you haven't spoken to in years, a book that falls out of nowhere into your hands, an advertisement that seems tailor-made for what you are experiencing. A 5-minute conversation with a stranger that changes everything. Pay attention. The portal speaks softly, but it speaks directly. And how to distinguish a simple coincidence from a true signal. Look at what repeats. Look at what resonates deep, deep in your chest, in that place where you cannot lie to yourself. Look at what keeps appearing in completely different contexts, coming from sources that have no relation to each other. When the universe wants to tell you something important, it doesn't use words. It uses patterns. Life speaks in patterns before it speaks in words. And between June 7th and 10th, these patterns will become so evident that you will get chills. Now let me explain what a new timeline really is. Because this expression has become a trend, and most people use it without understanding it. A new timeline is not a magical parallel dimension where you wake up in another body. It is not an instantaneous change where you close your eyes and open them in a different universe. A new timeline is a new way of living. It is new decisions made from a new consciousness. It is new habits that support a new version of you. It is different responses to the same challenges that previously brought you down. And here is the core idea that needs to be etched into you. Your life changes when you change. Period. There is no external miracle that replaces this. The portal will not change your life for you. The portal will give you the clarity, the courage, and the impulse for you to change. And this change is built step by step, piece by piece. One decision. One difficult conversation you put off for years. One healthy boundary that is finally set. One different action in the face of a repeated situation. Small acts consistent with the truth you discovered about yourself. The great transformations in the history of human lives were never born of grand gestures. They were born of small choices repeated every day until they became destiny. But there is a fatal error that prevents most people from crossing the portal, even when it is open right in front of them. And that error is waiting to feel completely ready. Waiting for one more sign. Waiting for the fear to disappear. Waiting for an absolute certainty that will never come. Here is the naked truth. Most of the important changes in your life will start before you feel comfortable with them. Comfort comes after the decision, never before. Those who wait to be ready never cross. The moment everything changes in your life has a very specific turning point. It is when the fear of staying the same finally outweighs the fear of moving forward. It is when standing still hurts more than moving. When this happens, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making excuses. You stop delaying. You start acting from your truth, not from your fear. And listen to the sentence that can change your week. Real change begins when remaining where you are becomes more painful than moving forward. So what should you do during this window of June 7th to 10th? Seek silence, even if it's only 10 minutes a day. Reflect without a phone, without noise, without distraction. Write down the thoughts that appear, especially the ones that seem uncomfortable. Observe repeated patterns. Listen to your intuition as if it were the most important thing in your week, because it is. And avoid 3 things like the plague: constant distraction, information overload, and the worst of all, ignoring what you already know deep down. You know. You always knew. The portal only comes to remind you. And remember this: you don't need to change your whole life today. You don't need to solve all your problems by Monday. You just need to take one step consistent with the truth you just recognized. One small action can change an entire trajectory. Don't underestimate this. The butterfly effect begins inside you. And here reaches the most delicate part of this video, so breathe. The opportunity is right in front of you. The clarity has already arrived, and that is why you are here now. The direction has already started to show itself, perhaps still timidly, but it has already shown itself. So the only question that remains is one: will you keep waiting, or will you start walking? Because the life you desire is not far away. It never was. It is on the other side of a decision you have been avoiding for too long. And you don't need to become someone else to live it. You just need to trust who you are already becoming. The door doesn't open when the fear disappears. The door opens when you decide to move forward in spite of it. So trust your process. Listen to your truth, the one that whispers even when the world screams. Take the first step, no matter how small it may seem. And if this video touched something inside you, if you felt that chill in the middle of your chest, comment right here below the phrase, "I am ready for my new timeline." This comment is not a detail. It is an energetic signature. It is you telling the universe out loud that you are willing. And remember always, the portal does not change your destiny for you. It only shows you the door. The decision to cross it has always been and will always be in your hands.